I didn't see him as an actor. I just saw him. I thought it's a real cop walking around.
Yes, he did say that.
So that for you is a great sense of achievement. Of he's meeting murderers, he's meeting gangsters, he's meeting rapists, he's meeting people who are either that or victims.
Yeah.
That's his whole job. Imagine the emotional psyche that he has to have. So if somebody reaches out to me, and it may not be the best thing for my career, it may not be something that I really believe in as a performer, it may not be the right professional decision. I've done a film with a producer because he needed the help at that time. I did a film for 1 rupee. Lord Bobby, who I love so much, would have said, "नहीं यार मैं इतने scene के लिए ये picture नहीं करूँगा."
Yeah.
You would have lost out on an animal. That would have been a decision of ego.
Hello everyone, this is Aina and welcome to Instant Bollywood. Today I'm in conversation with one of the finest actors we have. Joining me in a conversation is none other than Vivek Oberoi. So nice to have you.
Such a pleasure, Aina. Thank you.
Same here, and I'm going to say that this is the first time we're speaking, so I'm really excited. I have to start off by asking you that, you've played a cop before.
A few times.
Yeah, a few times. How is it different to play a cop in Rohit Shetty's universe?
The biggest difference is the high-speed walk. No, jokes apart, I think Rohit Bhai is super researched, right? I keep joking. I said you should be Dr. Rohit Shetty with a PhD in the cop verse.
Yeah.
He's super researched. He's super passionate about the world of cops. And what I loved about playing Vikram Bakshi in Indian Police Force was he was a cop who was cop, yes, but less of a solo guy, more of a guy who believes that everybody depends on him, his whole team depends on him. He has relationships with his seniors, are like the elders in his family, his juniors, Kabir, Siddharth's character, and the rest of his team, from the every single foot soldier onwards, feels like they're part of one unit, feels like they're part of one extended family. And he feels like this noble, courageous, brave guy who would take a bullet for any one of his team. He would take a bullet to save a city. He would take a bullet to save even one person. And that's what I love about him. That real veer. Somebody because veerta is not in physicality only. It's in a mindset. Of course, we got to do a lot of action and a lot of explosions and a lot of madness in Rohit Shetty's set. But I like the mindset of this guy. And for me, it was a huge compliment when Rohit recently only in one of the interviews said that, I didn't see him as an actor. I just saw him. I thought it's a real cop walking around.
Yes, he did say that.
So that for you is a great sense of achievement or a praise to receive that from a director of that caliber, of that stature, who says something like that about your performance. It feels really good. The idea was to make it as real as possible.
Said that I kind of got to see the human side of a cop.
True.
What did you mean? If you could elaborate a little.
So Aina, look, we look at cops, and to us, one cop is the same as the other cop because all we see is a uniform and a power, a sense of authority.
Yeah.
You and I grew up in a place where बच्चों को डराया जाता था, पुलिस आ जाएगी, पुलिस आ जाएगी.
जी.
I made it a point when my kids were growing up to say, when staff and people sometimes, nanny or somebody will say, पुलिस आ जाएगी, and I'll say,
ये कर लो.
So random stuff like that. And I said, पुलिस आएगी तो अच्छा है, salute करो. He says, क्यों? So I told my son and my daughter, because ये आपको सुरक्षित रखते हैं, ये देश को संभालते हैं, ये सब criminals को पकड़ते हैं. आप criminal हो? तो कहा नहीं, तो फिर डरना क्या है पुलिस से? प्यार करो पुलिस से. So that mindset's important to shift because you have to see the human side. You have to see he's choosing to do a job where 99% of the people he meets are criminals.
Yes.
He's meeting murderers, he's meeting gangsters, he's meeting rapists, he's meeting people who are either that or victims.
Yeah.
That's his whole job. Imagine the emotional psyche that he has to have, how tough he has to be able to deal with that and then go back home
Very
and be
emotionally
normal.
demanding. When you were shooting for company and Rohit Shetty came to meet you all the way because Ajay Devgan said that, there's a very talented boy. When you have a relationship like that with Rohit Shetty or probably with a lot of people in the industry, kabhi-kabhi jab directors come of that connection, come to you with a script and say if you want to say no for something, does it become difficult or do relationships come in between?
It does, because I'm a little old school like that. I come from that bridge generation, Me, Ritik, Abhishek, a few of us, we come from that window of time between 1998 and 2003 where the industry was transitioning.
Yeah.
Now it's become so professional. It's become transactional. It's become your people speak to my people. We'll have your office talk to my office.
Yeah.
We come from the time where we used to hang for the sake of hanging.
Yeah.
Now you only hang out when you have work.
Yeah.
If you're doing a project with you, I'll hang out with you. I'm still not that guy. I still don't believe in that. So if somebody reaches out to me, and it may not be the best thing for my career, it may not be something that I really believe in as a performer, it may not be the right professional decision, but I may still go ahead and do it and say, nahi yaar, iske liye karte hain.
Really?
Yeah.
You're
Sometimes
thinking
I'll
from
just
the
take that
heart.
decision. Sometimes I'll just say, theek hai, I'm aware that this is not the smartest thing I'm doing. I know that it may affect me, but I'm also secure in the fact that I know that I finished my growing years. The 20 years that I put into this industry, the fact that I've had my ups, I've had my downs, but yet I'm still there, I'm still relevant, I still get good work.
Whatever interviews I've seen, whatever you're saying right now, there's this part of you that always takes some decisions from his heart. Like you said, when people told you not to do Inside Edge, you did it. Sometimes you do things for relationships when you want to do any project. Is it advisable to kind of think from your heart when you're in this industry?
If I was your career advisor, I'd say no. I'd say, don't follow your heart. Make a strategy with your management team. Follow that strategy, because then you look at it as a business.
Yeah.
But over the years, this has stopped being a business for me. I have multiple other businesses. I have investments. I run a few companies. I look at them very, very from that perspective.
Right.
But for me, I'm really lucky that this is not a business, so that I don't have to be myopic. I don't have to have a very narrow view of this. I look at it holistically. I look at it sometimes, I know I may not even be happy with the script, and I'll say, I'll do it for this relationship.
Yeah.
We'll try our best. We'll try and make this better. Or I know this person needs me right now. I'll do it. I'll stand for you. I've done a film with a producer because he needed the help at that time. I did a film for 1 rupee.
What?
So those are not decisions you can take.
Yeah.
But I told the producer, he said, what will you charge me? You know, I'm in a spot of bother if you do this film for me. I said, 1 rupee. He says, what? I said, yeah, 1 rupee. I'll charge you 1 rupee to do this film. And I shot the film for 1 rupee. They had problems because they were saying, how do we put this on a contract?
Yeah.
How do we put in a contract that your fee is 1 rupee?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you figure it out. So those are the kind of relationships in the world I came from. In those days, Zaban used to be the contract.
You're the lead in that show or the film, and you've seen that. Especially when I saw the trailer of this, I'm like, how do you kind of keep that ego as an actor aside and think that, okay, I'm not going to headline this, but I know I'm going to do this for the character, and how do you convince yourself that, ठीक है, ये भी कर लेंगे?
Because I don't believe that your ego should supersede your talent. I don't believe that in a creative world, in a creative form, your ego should be ahead of your talent, right? So if Lord Bobby, who I love so much, would have said, नहीं यार मैं इतने scene के लिए ये picture नहीं करूँगा, you would have lost out on Animal. That would have been a decision of ego. He believed in Sandeep Vangareddy. Sandeep Vangareddy kind of reciprocated that belief and said, I'm going to make you kick ass in every single scene. And that's why now it's epic. Gabbar Singh had 7 or 8 scenes on paper, and Amjad Saab said, I'll do it. And when you walk out of the theatre, you think of Jai Veeru, but you can't walk out without thinking of Gabbar Singh. So you got to believe in that. You got to do your work. And sometimes you have to understand that in some roles, it's going to be all about you. In some roles, it's not. Some roles you can predict it. Some roles you can't predict it. You end up doing a small piece thinking, okay, this is all it is. And then it becomes about you.
Before I go, I'm going to do a quick rapid fire with you. You've played so many characters of different genres, be it comedy, gangster, cops. Which one do you feel the most comfortable in? Sweet lover boy as well.
The challenge to play a larger-than-life gangster is a big one. Because you have to be convincing, you have to be powerful, and you have to find a new color to it every single time. You can't be repetitive, you can't keep repeating yourself. Especially in my case, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun because they're written that way. They're written like that, like with this Maya Bhai and Shootout at Lokhandwala. It's a lot of fun playing that. And then if I had to do technically, Kesu Birangi in Omkar is a gangster. He's all about muscle. But then we found so many new colors to play that because it was a Vishal Bhardwaj film, and Vishal Bhai and I sat and we discussed and we said, how do we play it like this? It's a different color, it's a different feel and flavor. When Rohit Bhai said in an interview, he says, I felt he was really a cop standing there. That's the difficult one. So if I go back in my early days of my career, playing a Satya is very difficult to do.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because you're constantly second guessing yourself. Am I doing enough? Is this real, or is it too boring? Is it too drab? Is it just me? You have to believe in yourself and believe in the script and perform.
Yeah.
Whereas the minute you play something larger than life like a gangster, there's a swag, there's an attitude, that you're doing stuff.
Heroic thing.
So it's easy. It's larger than life automatic. You can do crazy stuff.
If you think you had social media back in the 90s, do you think it would be for the better or for the worse?
Much for the worse.
Much for the worse.
Much for the worse.
Even should have said that. Why?
I've seen that generation and that world. It used to be different. Relationships weren't as transactional. Relationships were there. Journalists, editors even, would just drop onto your set during lunch break, hang with you, watch a couple of scenes. We were not trying to protect you, hide you, keep you out, because we were not worried you'll pull out a phone and start shooting something. You were not all about the sansani case khabar. You were not about trying to grab attention in 30 seconds. You had perspective as journalists. You spoke to artists, you peeled layer upon layer upon layer, and each issue upon issue, you found something new to talk about. There's lack of trust today because of social media. Of course, there's also trolling. You had fans who would love you, who would care about you. They can reach out to you more easily now because of social media. You hear a lot more feedback, which is a good thing. It's a positive. But you also have those trolls. There are social vultures.
Yeah.
They have nothing to contribute to anything. They're just all about being negative and bitchy and trying to be noticed. I mean, imagine, I feel sad for them. I feel pity for them. That is this what you identify yourself as? Ki I am that person who goes out there and tries to take bites off some person to feel better about myself.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
If you weren't an actor and you were a cop, what was the first thing you'd like to do?
If I wasn't an actor and I was a cop, I think I'd be inspired by a lot of great Hindi films, and I would flip open the old registered of unsolved cases and go like, why are these cases unsolved? कौन है ये? उनको कहो कि काला चौकी में एक नया पुलिस वाला आया है. That kind of story. That would be my vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing you love and one thing you tolerate about Rohit Shetty.
One thing I love, one thing I tolerate. One thing I love is he is genuinely, I think Vikram Bakshi, the character I play, is the Rohit Shetty of Delhi Police Force.
Okay. Yeah.
He is that guy who takes care of his family. He's that guy who loves and manages everybody. And Rohit's like that. Every single member of his team, no matter how big they are, how small they are, whether it's the guy who brings the pani on set and the chai on set to his chief ADs, the love, the respect, the equality. He makes everybody feel part of a team.
No hierarchy.
They all have access. They have opinions. They can come and say, Rohit sir, mujhe acha nahi laga. That's amazing to have that kind of team contribution and to keep it that way, not to get into the sense of ego. I love that about Rohit. What do I tolerate about him? I don't think there's much to tolerate because he's just an overall nice guy. But I think the one thing that is possibly difficult to keep pace with is the speed at which he works.
Okay.
And he is tuck, and without compromising. He's got that scale, but he's also got that speed. And if he wants that perfect shot, no matter what, how many times you have to do it, you have to do it. Like in the action sequences, he's carrying this 27-kilo camera on his shoulder,
yes,
and he says, okay bro, come from here. Acha, aap aa jao, idhar se aa jao, now this, that. And we were doing rough action, man. Like fist action, banging each other against walls. I was jokingly calling it the Rohit massage. Yeah, the Rohit Shetty massage. Because you're being banged and bruised and, pushed across. And he asked us, everybody, will you do your own action? We said, yeah, I want to do my own action. It was raw.
There's a lot of love that your filmography has for its music. be it Satya, be it Auna, be it Ganpat. When now there are reels being made on, you know, your music over the years. How do you feel when you come across your older work and, you know, it being appreciated in 2023, like, you know, especially the music?
I love it because it's crazy. You know, I'll be at a party somewhere and suddenly you'll hear a DJ play a remix song of BD Jalaile or, you know, of Ganpat or of
it still sets the mood.
It's quite amazing to have that. It's quite amazing. Even Prince, you know, Tere Liye and stuff like that. They'll play it at parties even today, and they'll play it at, they'll remix it, they'll, you know, create a match, and it's always that you turn around and look at the DJ and go like, I know that beat, I know that song, it's coming up. So it's a way of showing your love, and that's always makes an actor feel special.
Thank you so much for chatting with us.
Such a pleasure, Aina.
Same here. Wishing you all the very best, and we'll see you super soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you like this video, like, share and subscribe to Instant Bollywood.